Hello, welcome on this brisk June day to our show, Outside in the Garden. I'm Gigi.
And I'm Michael. And today, Gigi, we're at a member's house, Maria Sanderleaf, and she has a steep slope behind us, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. And when it rains, it comes pouring down and creates a nice big puddle at the end of her lawn.
So she's tried to creatively figure out ways to deal with this standing water, and we think that'll be an interesting thing to learn about.
Right. So that's what we're going to have Maria today explain what she's been doing. So here I am with Maria, and we're standing in front of this, what would you call it we've made here? It's not a rain garden per se, because you're adding soil, and it's pretty big. Right?
It is. It's 8 feet by 30 feet, and it's an area that has always got a lot of standing water. Every spring, you walk through, you have to wear boots, and anytime there's a heavy rain, the water comes back and it's standing water. And so I wanted to try to come up with a way to mitigate that. So the first thing that we did was we planted some willow trees. And that may be helping, I'm not really sure.
Well, it's going to soak up the water, definitely. Yes.
But we still had all this standing water. So I decided to make a garden here with native plants that that are meant for standing water or very, very moist soil.
Right. So how did you start?
So the first thing that I did was I collected cardboard.
Okay.
And I put down cardboard all along here. Mm-hmm. And then I got a Pro Mix blend.
So did the cardboard stay in the water? What happened?
So because it was so wet, I had to wear boots while I was doing this.
Right.
The cardboard just sank down.
Okay.
And it went over the grass and mud that was here.
Oh, right over the grass you put the cardboard.
I put it right over the grass, and it prevents the grass from coming up.
Right. Yes, right.
And so it just sank down, and then I just kept putting shovels full of a Pro Mix on top. And
when you say Pro Mix, what does that mean?
It was a mix of soils from a garden center. They delivered it, and it was one that would do really well for plants and for vegetables. It wasn't just a general mix.
So it wasn't a gravel or anything?
No, not at all.
Okay,
okay. So it's a really rich soil.
Oh, rich soil, okay.
Right. So I put that down, and then I got 68 plugs.
Wow.
And I planted them all around. So I have about 12 different kinds of plants, and I've planted each type of plant close to each other.
Yes.
But you can see that there's still a tremendous amount of space.
Well, this is a big space.
Right, it's a huge space.
Right, and you put sawdust or?
So then we put wood chips on top, and you can see how the wood chips are not even anymore, and that's because when it rains, the water comes down the slope and straight into this here and pushes everything aside.
So has the puddle been eliminated since you've done this, or?
For the most part, yes, it has been eliminated, which
Very
is
good.
great. So
yeah,
we
that's
still
great.
have puddles on either side, and so at some point maybe I will expand this. But for now, this has definitely been very helpful.
That's great. That's great. It's going to be beautiful in the end. I know. And all native plants for the pollinators. I'm glad you're doing that.
Right.
I'm going to let Michael talk to you about what you've planted here now.
Okay.
So hello, Maria.
Hello,
you have a
Michael.
lovely little book there which you are showing me, and it has a list inside of all of your plants. So over here you have a really interesting one that I've never seen before. This is a turtle head. So tell me about what you planted and why you planted them.
Okay, so the turtle head is one that uses that needs moist soil, but not as moist as the plants on this side, because this side of the garden is wetter.
Right.
So I took the ones that needed the wettest soil and put on that side and brought over. So the turtle head is this beautiful little flower. I'm new to it also. It's got this white flower that's sort of looks like the shape of a turtle.
Nice.
And it's quite pretty.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be real fun. And then you've got the rose milkweed, I see. You've got quite a patch of it here.
I do have a patch here, and it's really doing quite well because these all started as plugs.
Yeah.
And they've grown so well, and so I'm hoping that next year it'll be a lot fuller as well.
Plugs are a great way to start, aren't they? Because they're cheap, and then they take off well.
They do.
Yeah. And then over there you've got a really nice, the native iris.
Right. I have 3 Iris versicolor. It's the northern
Blue flag. Yep.
And these were bare root, and I got actually a couple flowers from there so this year already.
That's lovely. That's a really nice plant, the blue flag iris, because the invasive one is the yellow flag, which is the European iris that comes all over, and you see it in all of our wetlands.
Right.
But the blue flag you don't see very much, so it's really great that you planted the blue flag. And in front there you've planted goldenrod, which will be gorgeous in September.
Grass-leaved goldenrod, Euthymia graminifolia. So I've got they're doing really well also. They were plugs as well.
And then in the very front, you've planted some orange coneflower, I see.
That's right, orange coneflower.
So that'll be nice. So you've got a really lovely selection here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And of course I have a lot of plantain that will not go away.
Yeah, there we go. One of the weeds we talked about last week, Gigi.
We'll figure out what we're going to do with that. I don't know yet.
Good. Okay, Maria, here you were talking a little bit to me earlier about how you're thinking to contain, because the really wet area is over here, isn't it?
That's right. This is a very wet area.
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
So what I'm thinking is that after I have an opportunity to assess how all of these plants do in the moistness, and I plant new additional plants in the fall, next year I'm thinking about maybe making a more free-form kind of garden here to also collect all of the water and make it something that can complement these plants, maybe some of the same different ones, but that will also do the job of collecting the water.
Yeah.
And being pollinator garden.
Being pollinator garden. And I think it's lovely, and we'll look forward to seeing it next year. So Maria, thank you so much for being with us today and hosting us, and we learned a lot.
Thank you.